I was scrolling through some different YouTube videos and I came across this story right here and said I had to talk about it because this right here is disturbing in a multitude of ways. One is because of the act that once was committed, and the second one is how this person disguised themselves as they were committing this act. So in this picture, you see a man by the name of Malad Roof. He's 25 years of age and he was sentenced to 11 years in prison because he attacked his ex-girlfriend with acid. Now, both of these people in this picture are the same. Now, we clearly can see that's him, but that's also him right there. He's wearing a fat bodysuit and he's covered and he looks rather dark in that suit, because in that suit, it looks like he's disguising himself to be someone of darker skin, black, let's just say what it is, to appear to be black. And he did that to disguise himself while he committed this act. Because, to do it, showing it as himself, that would be too obvious. But I mean, they already caught him for doing it, so it doesn't really matter at this point. So I'm going to go ahead now and read this article. A man who disguised himself in a fat suit to carry out an acid attack on his girlfriend has been jailed. Malad Roof donned the elaborate costume to inflict life-changing injuries on junior doctor Rem El Alawi. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. In Brighton on May 20th. I think this, based on how it sounds to me like this happened overseas. Roof, who is from Roath in Cardiff, was sentenced at Lewes Crown Court in East Sussex. Yeah, this is definitely overseas. On Thursday to 11 years in prison and 4 years on an extended license. Miss Alawi and Roof met as medical students at Cardiff University and briefly dated before she ended the relationship and moved to Brighton, where she began working as a junior doctor in April. Within weeks, Roof planned and carried out the attack. He traveled from his Cardiff home to Miss Alawi's address in Brighton, Lewes Court heard. Prosecutor Flora Page told the court, using padded clothes and makeup, he made himself to appear to be a black woman of large build. So there it is right there. See, even overseas, this is why I say don't come over me with that POC or that black and brown unity crap. This guy committed an acid attack on his ex-girlfriend for whatever reason it was, not as himself, but disguised as a black woman. And then he used a very interesting caricature of a large shaped black woman, dark skin, might I add. By the time of the attack, at 4:15 p.m., he was dressed all in black and he was wearing a face mask, sunglasses, and a face visor. His disguise proved effective and Dr. Alawi did not recognize him as she opened the door. Ruth showed her a threatening note written on a pad, taking care of not to speak and give away himself, before throwing 60% concentrated sulfuric acid in her face. Despite Ms. Alawi's using her medical knowledge by washing the acid immediately and receiving prompt hospital treatment, she still suffers severe injuries. In the police investigation that followed, officers were able to track Rue's movement and search his home, where they found a handwritten list detailing the costumes and equipment he used to carry out the attack. The court described the attack as unimaginable. Judge Christine Lang, QC, told Roof, "You bought sulfuric acid as a trainee doctor and would know far better than most people the devastating consequences that has when applied to the human body." She added that Roof acted out of simple jealousy and anger at being rejected before sentencing him. Investigating officer Rose Haran said, "This was a premeditated, malicious, and harrowing incident, and I'd like to thank the victim for showing such incredible bravery and dignity throughout. She has been inspirational, and we continue to support her during this difficult time." In a victim statement read to the court, Ms. Alawi said, "Since the day I was subject to this horrific attack, my life has changed tremendously, whereby I live in a constant physical and psychological pain, fear of my future well-being, and socioeconomic hardship." She explained her injuries, which include being unable to fully move her neck, close her eyelids, or see out of her right eye. She has also had 5 surgeries since the attack. She added, "Prior to this attack, I was working as a junior doctor and living independently. Now I'm unable to attend work or live my life as normal. I have been robbed of years of my career and young adult life. The psychological effect of this attack has been colossal to me, my family, and loved ones. I cannot begin to imagine how or why someone could commit such a horrible, premeditated act. It is impossible to fathom, find peace with, or justify what was going on in his mind." That's messed up. And when I read the details of her talking about how that hurt her economically, that makes it even worse. She said she was so used to doing stuff on her own, being independent and doing stuff, to get by so she could survive. Now all of that's been stripped from her just in an instant because of what he did. Now they said that this guy was her ex. So is it when they said it was his ex, I said I can pretty much like lean on why he did it. He was apparently, it sounds to me like they broke up. Maybe she saw some signs in him that kind of like sent off warning signals like this guy is not all he's cracked up to be. And it looks to me like she was right. But unfortunately, not before he did what he did. Now, the whole thing about the disguising thing, interestingly, that's what he chose to disguise himself as. Not as anyone else, hell, not even someone who is of his ethnic background, but just using a body costume. He had to go out and make up a costume in the image of the stereotypical dark-skinned black woman. Black women should be highly offended on that front alone. Because what if they never caught him and they were out there looking for a black woman that is like, the one he disguised himself as? You would have had an innocent woman that would have been going to jail or hemmed up somewhere. But it wouldn't have made any sense. Like what would that have done? Like they would have done so much investigation. To be honest, I don't even think with his disguise, it's not like he was going to get away with it anyway. He probably thought he was, but I don't think he really thought all of that through. It would have just been best for him to just leave the whole situation alone and move on with his life, but he could not let that happen. And I've seen so many stories where you've had, and it's usually a domestic abuse type of thing where you'll have the boyfriend, it's mainly the ex-boyfriend, going around and he'll dump acid in the woman's face that he used to be with because she dumped him for whatever reason and he couldn't handle the rejection. This is some real incel behavior and some abusive behavior too. And the fact that he even did this, it makes me wonder how long did their relationship last? And two, how was he treating her in the relationship for him to actually do this? Because you don't just wake up one day and decide to go after your ex. Do you know how many people have, when you break up with people, they become exes? They don't go around doing this. But like I said, you can tell those who probably been in relationships before versus those who have not. And if they do get in one, then, they try to do whatever it is to make that work, because maybe they feel like they don't have a chance in hell of getting another person like that person or better. So they become enraged. Who knows, this guy right here could have been stalking his ex. And he probably saw her with somebody, and that could have been a triggering point. But you can tell he looks crazy, and he is a psycho. To one, do what he did to his ex, and two, to disguise himself as a black woman in order to commit the act in hopes to throw off the scent that it was him. And as you can see, that didn't work because they still caught him. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments.